remind you that the championship led by Glenn Irwin by 23 points from Tommy Bridewell. Glenn Irwin, he starts on the second row of the grid, whereas Tommy Bridewell starts from the back row of the grid. Christian Idney's third in the championship, 9 points down on Tommy Bridewell, just 4 points ahead of Brooksy and 17 points ahead of the Osho, who's just 7 ahead of Andrew Irwin. We're going to reshuffle the points board at the end of these next 25 laps, ladies and gents, because this is Bennett's British Superbike Championship Racing race number 1 here of the 3 races here this weekend in round number 3 of the shortened 2020 series. That front row of the grid is Danny Buchan, Josh Brooks and Jason Allen. Watch the lights. The drag race is go. And who's going to get that whole shot up toward turn number 1 is going to be Danny Buchan. Danny Buchan from around the outside moves up to take the lead as they go. Andrew Irwin already up into second place with the black Honda, and that looks to be the Osho and O'Halloran running their third as they make the run up toward the Maggot sweeping left-hander. Not a quick start. That's turn 3, 6th place by Brooksy at the moment as they arrive there. Coming around the outside is Carl Wright. Carl Wright is moving up, picking up 4 places going into Becker's corner. He just left caution to the win there, and he picked up a few places there, did Carl Wright. Kept it on the island as they all now make the run down toward Brooklands for the first time. Andrew Irwin is in second place. Looked on the inside of Danny Buchan, but Danny Buchan holds it. It is the McCams Yamaha running their third. Glenn Irwin is running there in 4th place. Then it is in 5th place. It's Carl Wright. Behind Carl Wright, that then is Brooksy, and then behind Brooksy, well, the whole gaggle comes storming through. Let's see as they come through to complete lap number 1. But a cracking start here by Danny Buchan. We've seen it before by Danny under new sponsorship here this weekend, and for the rest of the season for the number 83, it is the rapid fulfillment FS3 Kawasaki of Danny Buchan from Andrew Irwin, from O'Halloran, Glenn Irwin, Carl Wright, Josh Brooks, Bradley Ray, Tara McKenzie, Gino Ria, Mossy, Eden, Jackson, Barbetta, Hickman, Francis, Bridewell, Stacey, Taylor McKenzie, Vickers, Ward, Graham Irwin Esmond and McCormack at the end of lap number 1. The interesting feature there is that Tommy Bridewell at the end of lap number 1 is up into 16th position, as we can go back then with the race leaders. And the leaders change. It is yellow 18 that leads this from green number 2. So the Black Perils, they've gone back into 1-2 team formation at the moment. It's on to far place of the Irwin brothers, the Irwin Carrick Fergus, the Stantrin brothers ahead of McCams. Buchan's gone back into 4th position. Then behind him it is Carl Wright. It's Brooksy just behind Carl Wright as they come through then for lap number 2. Let's just see where Tommy Bridewell is 16th at the end of lap number 2. Has he picked off any more places? More importantly, or equally importantly, is the gap between Bridewell and the people in front of him. 3.38 it was at the end of lap number 1. Bridewell has gone through in 6th place in 16th place. 3.388 it is at the end of that second lap as the leaders now into lap number 3. But just keep our eyes on that with Tommy Bridewell. Not a good start there by just looking to see the number 14 Lee Bob Jackson around about 10th or 11th for Lee Bob. But here are the brothers Irwin with an increased advantage over O'Halloran in 3rd position. In 4th place now, that is Danny Buchan. Just holding that 4th place to see. Yes, he is. He's closed right down. Just ahead now of Carl Wright. And then it's Tara McKenzie, Captain Cover Tara McKenzie on the second of the McCams Yamaha. But coming up then to complete lap number 3. And it is yellow 18 from green number 2. Andrew Irwin from Glen Irwin from the 22. O'Halloran from the 83 of Danny Buchan. 77 Carl Wright. 95 Tara McKenzie. 25 Josh Brooks has gone back a place. 21 Eden is up into 8th place. Then it's Mossy number 12. Bradley Ray 28. Jackson 14. Gino Ria 44. 80 Hector Barbetta. 6060 Hickman. 40 Francis. Tommy Bridewell still there in 16th place, number 46. Although the gap between himself and the leaders is just about the same, or a 10th outside what it was 1 lap earlier. So Bridewell is lapping almost as quickly as the Irwin brothers at the moment, as Glenn takes a little look up on the inside of his younger brother Andrew. He'll want to be pretty circumspect. He won't want to make a rash overtake on Andrew and run the risk of taking the 2 of them down whilst they're running 1st and 2nd at the moment. I can tell you this, that Tara McKenzie, this is a new Tara McKenzie here. This is the McKenzie that we've not seen for some time now. He's having a go at Danny Buchan. Buchan has McKenzie swarming all over his rear boot. McKenzie's gone ahead of Carl Wright, and McKenzie will go past Buchan surely on the run in toward turn number 1, where we go back with the leaders. A yellow 18 from green number 2. No change there. And still looking comfortable then in third place. It is O'Halloran, number 22. Fastest rider on the circuit is Glen Irwin at 53.644, and that is a new lap record, as we suspected it would be. The lap record of Jake Dixon set back in September of 18, 54.109. The fastest lap prior to, well, the fastest lap still actually is Taz Mackenzie in qualifying, 53.549 a couple of years ago, with Mackenzie now up into fourth position. Mackenzie now has got ahead of Danny Buchan. Let's just see that gap with Mackenzie. Good first sector that last time around, Mackenzie. That's why how he got past Danny Buchan and Andrew Irwin, Glen Irwin, O'Halloran, then Taron Mackenzie. And behind Taron Mackenzie, that will be Danny Buchan back then into fifth position, and then it will be Carl Ride. It will then be Eden, Mossy, Brooks, Jackson, Ray, Rhea, Barbera, Bridewell now up into 14th place. But he is still losing time now to the leaders, 3.8 second down on the leaders. Glen Irwin, remember, Tommy Bridewell coming into this race here, running second in the championship, some 23 points down on Glen Irwin. And every position in front of Tommy Bridewell that Glen Irwin finishes, he will be adding points to that differential in favour of the Ulsterman himself, Glen Irwin. He's made a break at the moment, though, has Glen Irwin. Glen Irwin now has got his dander up, and now he can see the clear tarmac in front of him, and he's going to make hay whilst the sun shines. He's trying to shake clear his brother, who runs in second position, the Honda 1-2, the Black Perils, the Honda Fireblades. Many people say, why have they gone for the black colour? And one story that I heard was that it was for marketing purposes to try and get the public to buy the black bikes. I'm not sure whether that's correct or whether it's not, but either way, they stand out, running first and second. Moving up is Carl Ride up in the fourth place. A nice mover there on the inside of Mackenzie. Thought that he would be a rider, keep his eyes on Carl Ride, and Carl Ride made that look oh so easy on the run in toward turn number one to nip through on the inside of the McCams Yamaha. That is the Bill Bayes Suzuki rider of Carl Ride, and Ride now is even thinking of having a go for third position, and that would be the McCams teammate of Mackenzie. That would be O'Halloran that will be coming under the eagle-eyed stare of Carl Ride. But here comes Mackenzie back to have a go for that fourth place. Meanwhile ahead, Andrew Irwin has bridged the gap a little bit, got back onto terms with brother Glenn at 1.18 of a second it was at the end of lap number 6. I would say visually it's just about the same, but it's going on behind, and this will be an overtake opportunity into turn number 1 here for Carl Ride on the inside of the Osho Jason Holden. He'll get the power on, will Carl Ride. He says this is a real sweet engine that he's got here, and he'll want to make the most of it. Did he get through into third place? Let's see the wide-angle shot as they exit from... No, he didn't, but he's alongside the Osho now. He couldn't make it on the run up toward Beckers. This could be the change now for third place coming from Carl Ride, in favour of Carl Ride, as we're actually going back to Gino Rhea here. That would be going back to, about 12th or 13th position. Want to get back up with the leaders. That's where the battle is at the moment, that onward... And yes, he has gone to third place. He is now up into third place. Carl Ride has now moved up into third position. He's gone past both of the McCams Yamahas. He's got to defend this inside line into Luffield in and Luffield out, and Carl Ride. Now, what is the differential between Carl Ride and the leaders as they come up then to complete lap number 8? The time differential as they come through, that is going to be critical, because he's the fastest rider on the circuit at the moment is Carl Ride. He put the lap in at 53.620, and actually at the end of lap number 8 the gap was 0.815 of a second between Glen Irwin leading and Carl Ride running in third position. Now, Halloran is back to fourth, but Taron Mackenzie is running there fifth. Eden is running sixth. Eden now is ahead of his teammate Brooksy. So Eden it is, number 21, running for Paul Bird Motorsport and the Vision Track squad on the Ducati. Up then into sixth position. Buchan has gone back to seventh place, number 83, ahead of Brooksy 25, Mossy number 12, and Lee Jackson number 14. Bradley Ray, Gino Rhea, Tommy Bridle 13th, Hector Barbera 14th, Joe Francis now into the points in 15th place. Hickman, Vickers, Stacey Ward, Taylor Mackenzie, Graham Irwin, McCormack and Bjorn Esmond, and the rider did not complete a lap was Josh Owens. We're back with the leaders, and this is for the 9th time of asking, and this will give us an indication as to whether Ride he's pulling back. Ride is pulling back. That now was 0.81, that's 0.77 on that lap, so he is pulling back time now. It's Carl Ride on the two leaders. The brothers Irwin, it's the elder one, Glenn, leads from the younger one, Andrew, but that gap is coming down all the time. The bait is thrown out ahead of the nose of Carl Ride, and he is taking long. Mackenzie and O'Halloran just for the ride. The two McCams Yamaha riders have latched into the slipstream of Carl Ride as they run at 175, 180 miles an hour on the run down toward Brooklands Corner. Good lap coming here from Mackenzie. He's responded, has Mackenzie, to try and get that third place back. But equally importantly is the gap between Glenn Irwin and Carl Ride coming up then to complete lap number 10. If it's below 0.77 of a second, then Ride is hunting them down. They come through, over the line they go for the 10th time, and it's 0.5. It's 0.5. He's pulled another 2 cents of a second back, and Carl Ride unmistakably is hunting down now on the two Hondas. 0.8 it was, 0.77, now 0.5 at the end of lap number 10. The differential between the leader, Glenn Irwin, and Carl Ride, they're running then in third position. The Bill Bay Suzuki rider from Jacksdale in Nottinghamshire. And we can see visually now, indeed, it becomes a freight train of 4 riders, because whatever Ryder's doing, Mackenzie is going to go with him. And Mackenzie looks on the side into Brooklands corner. Mackenzie's going to steal that third place back. He does. Taryn Mackenzie, the captain's got it covered. Captain cover moves up into third position. That is for McCams Yama. That pushes Carl Ride back just ahead then of Jason O'Halloran. They are still so tightly bunched. They come up then to complete lap number 11 of this 25, first of 3 races here at Silverstone this weekend. And across the line they go. Glenn Irwin, Andrew Irwin, Taryn Mackenzie, Carl Ride, O'Halloran, Eden, Brooks, Buchan, Jackson, Ray, Rhea, Bridewell, Mossy, Barbera and Francis. The only change there is that Taryn Mackenzie has moved ahead of Carl Ride to take that third position away. And interestingly enough, that means that the gap between first and third is now down to 0.25 of a second. That's how close it is, ladies and gents. It looked a few laps ago as if Honda were going to just disappear away over the horizon. Here comes Mackenzie now to take second place away from Andrew Irwin into Brooklands corner. He splits the 2 Hondas. The McCams Yamaha rider just gently goes underneath the left shoulder of Andrew Irwin, and here is Taryn Mackenzie now holding this second place, consolidating that second place, making it stick, and he's now got the one man in front of him, and that is Glenn Irwin. Lap 12 they come through to complete, and that it confirms Taryn Mackenzie up then into second position. Glenn Irwin, Taryn Mackenzie, Andrew Irwin, Ride O'Halloran, no change behind, other than to say that Bridewell now moves up to 11th place. He has displaced Gino Rhea. Fastest lap, well, it's a good sector coming here from Andrew Irwin, actually, the rider who is running in third position. He'll want to respond and get back into second place as quickly as he can. But the leading bunch, and the leading bunch covered, that's the leading 8 covered by just under 2 seconds. The leading 7, and that's Brooksy, covered by 1 3/4 seconds. Just wondering whether there's any way back here for Brooksy at the moment. He is 1.75 down on the race leaders. His last lap was a 53.8, which was identical to that of Glenn Irwin, who is leading the race. So he's certainly not losing any ground there, Brooksy, who's back in 7th place, reeling off lap number 13, and that then will be the Suzuki that is retiring out there of Gino Rhea, number 44. Looks like that is a technical retirement there for the number 44 of Gino Rhea. Just looking, Glenn Irwin, that's that lap for Brooksy there. That was a 53.8. It was a 53.4, though, for Taryn Mackenzie, a 53.6 for Andrew Irwin, 53.6 for Glenn Irwin. So Mackenzie can sniff that there's something more at the end of this one, and it could well be the top step of the podium. He looks on the side of green number 2, a little precautionary look. He now makes the more severe attempt on the inside there as Glenn Irwin just closes the apex down. Andrew Irwin now breaks himself and runs wide, and Andrew Irwin just about to hand that place away to Lee Bob Jackson. I think that is, yes it is, it's Lee Bob Jackson. So Andrew Irwin has gone back behind, well, who's that he's gone back behind? He's certainly gone back a couple of places, having overshot at Brooklands corner. Let's read them through at lap 14. Glenn Irwin, Taryn Mackenzie, Carl Ride, O'Halloran, Eden, Brooks, Buchan. Andrew Irwin indeed lost 5 places on that lap when he overshot. Here, see the replay here, just literally overshoots at Brooklands corner. Did he get into a tank slapper, or was well, he just ran straight on. He just outbrakes himself. That is the number 18 of Irwin, who was up there holding third place, and dropped 5 places, dropped back to where did he go through at the end of that one? Andrew Irwin back to 8th position, back with the leaders. And there's interesting tussle because Mackenzie is looking inside outside to green 2 from red 95, McCams Yamaha, chasing. Well, he's nicely placed now. He is nicely placed now for the run up toward turn number 1 is Mackenzie. He can make the move on the inside. Is he going to do it now? Look on the inside. Is he close enough to make the move on the inside? Yes, he is. He goes on the inside into turn number 1. That was like a little game of chess. But here comes Irwin around the outside to match him. But Mackenzie has got the tighter line. And Mackenzie, it was like a game of chess. You could see he was working that one out, coming out of left field. If he could get the drive down, he would be as close as he needed to be to go through on the inside into turn number 1. And that's exactly what he did. And he's holding it now. It is Mackenzie, number 93, that leads at 95, that leads this one. Taron Mackenzie is your race leader, ladies and gents, winner of just one British Superbike race in his career. Where was that? Here at Silverstone last year, 2019 Silverstone, the victory for Taron Mackenzie. Brilliant ride coming from Car Ride as well. We've now got the 2 Paul Bird Motorsport Vision Track, Silverstone Ducatis in team formation 21 from the 25, and right on the tail of the 25 is the yellow 18 of Andrew Irwin. And where's Tommy Bridewell? He's up now into 10th position. Now, what about the lap times? We're getting in toward the closing stages of the 24 lap, a 2/3 distance having been completed. Now, are we going to see a resurgence as tyre conservation and tyre wear comes into play with this one? What about the 2 Ducatis, the Vision Track Ducatis of Paul Bird Motorsport, 21, red 21, that's in ahead then of Brooksy, and yellow 18, Andrew Irwin as one as they go out onto the Wellington Straight. Here comes Brooksy to look on the inside of his teammate, and he's going to take it away. He doesn't. Eden's not going to give it up that easily. You might be my teammate, but you're going to have to work for this one. And Brooksy's going to have to work for this one. He knows he's got to work for this one. Christian Eden, who had that marvellous ride at Snetterton, and then actually almost fell off on the cool-down lap when he ran into the back of another rider, and almost ended in a big heap on his victory lap, did Christian Eden just 2 weeks ago. Leaders through: Mackenzie, Glenn Irwin, Ride, O'Halloran, Eden, Brooks, Andrew Irwin, Buchan, Jackson, Bridewell in 10th place, Ray, Mossy, Barbera, Francis Hickman, Ryan Vickers just going through there. The leading 4 riders covered by just the thick end of 1 second. 1.7 back on that is the Eden Brooks Irwin situation. And now Irwin has split the 2 Paul Bird Motorsport Ducatis. Yes, he has. The Honda Fireblade has now become the filling, and he's going to go through on the inside of Eden Shorley in toward Brooklands Corner. He's not. There's no way through there, and he knows it. And Eden just holds his line in toward Brooklands Corner, the left-hander up toward the right-hander. Fastest rider on the circuit, Mackenzie. That was set on lap 13 at 53.471. Mackenzie with a 0.4 of a second advantage over Glenn Irwin, who in turn is 0.49 ahead of Car Ride, who is a quarter of a second ahead of O'Halloran. And 2 seconds plus back on that is Andrew Irwin, who now has got past the 2 Paul Bird Motorsport Vision Track Silverstone Ducatis, and that is Andrew Irwin running 5th, Eden running 6th, Brooksy running 7th, Buchan running 8th, Jackson 9th, Bridewell is 10th. I want to get back with the race leaders to see this gap up front, because a good lap coming here from Glenn Irwin, 0.48 it was. Now I can look out of my window and look across now toward Brooklands Corner to see whether that gap is coming down. Mackenzie and Glenn Irwin as they enter in toward Luffield in, Luffield out. And the freight train along behind them. And here comes your race leader. And this is coming up then to complete lap number 19.48 of a second. It was in favour of Taron Mackenzie ahead of Glenn Irwin, and 0.9 it's gone up, and Taron Mackenzie has responded, and it was a brilliant opening first sector to Glenn Irwin, but responding on sectors 2 and 3, Taron Mackenzie has increased the gap now to 0.97 of a second, and every lap now is a lap toward home. Remember, just that one victory to Mackenzie here at Silverstone back last year. Is he going to repeat that feat here? At the moment, it looks odds on as if he is going to do that. Car Ride fancies his chances here. He's in 3rd place at Car Ride, but he fancies his chances here for a 2nd place. And Brooksy's now got ahead of Eden. And Brooksy now is going to have a go with Andrew Irwin. Brooksy knows if he's going to win this championship, he's not got to let any more points get away from him. He's got to start picking up the big points. And the points he's in at the moment for Brooksy, 10 points for 6th place, just ain't good enough. He needs the big points if he's going to stop the onslaught of the brothers Irwin. That then into lap number 25 laps to go. Say what you like about this short 1.64 mile circuit here at Silverstone. It certainly does produce such close, exciting racing for the riders. There's just not a second for them to take a rest or a breather whatsoever. It is attack, attack, attack mode from the word go. And Carl Ride does fancy this second place. And Carl Ride is nicely placed here with the Bilbao Suzuki in toward Brooklands corner. Can he find his way through? He looked, and then he thought better of it as Irwin just let the brakes run. Irwin just hangs on by a Nats Thingy. And as we all know, Nats Thinkers ain't very big, so he's got a very slender advantage in second place ahead of Carl Ride. But Carl Ride now has O'Halloran to contend with, because O'Halloran now fancies a bit more action and fancies a podium here. Coming up to complete lap number 21. 150 miles an hour over the start finish line, up then to 170 on the run up toward turn number 1. And Carl Ride goes through in the inside. Carl Ride is up in the second place at turn number 1. He has taken over second place for Bilbao Suzuki. Has the number 77, the 23-year-old from Jacksdale. Carl Ride looking not for just it's his first Superbike podium that he's looking for. Is Carl Ride at the moment the winner of the British GP2 Championship of last year, and looking now for his first ever British Superbike podium, and he's got to make this one stick as they go into toward Brooklands. Joe Francis is a retirement. That is the number 4040 who has retired in toward the pit lane. We look for the race leader, number 95, and he now is coming our way and can see visually that is a comfortable lead for Mackenzie. Just got to keep his concentration here. If he keeps his concentration here, then they are battling for the scraps off the table. Behind him, Ride, Glenn Irwin and O'Halloran. Andrew Irwin, Brooksy, Eden, Jackson, Buchan, Bridewell, no change. Ray, Mossy, Barbera, Hickman, Vickers, Ward, no change in those positions behind. The interest here really is, can Carl Ride hang on to that podium placing? Indeed, Lee Bob Jackson now fancies his chances here against the two Ducatis. And Lee Bob Jackson, number 14, running for the Rapid Fulfillment FS3 Kawasaki concern, is now starting to have a go at Christian Eden. That would be for position number 7. In fact, Brooks is the one he's got to have a go at first. He's got to have a go at Eden, or is it Brooksy? But either way, yes, Eden and Brooksy, as we come back with the race leaders. Coming up then, 95. This is coming up then. 3 laps to go at the moment. Coming up to complete lap number 23. 0.5 of a second. Mackenzie from Ride. O'Halloran now has relegated Glenn Irwin. That is certainly shuffling her points about here. And that now is O'Halloran, who nipped through on the inside in toward Loughborough. That was exactly the point where last year Taz Mackenzie shuffled into the side of O'Halloran and brought O'Halloran as the race leader down to earth at that final corner. But he made that safe underneath Glenn Irwin, did the Aussie O'Halloran. Ahead of them, Terry Mackenzie in toward the closing couple of laps. He has a 0.57 second advantage over Carl Ride. Ride is 0.6 ahead of O'Halloran, who's 0.17 ahead of Glenn Irwin. 2.8 back on that is Andrew Irwin. Half a second ahead, though, of Brooks, Eden, Jackson, Buchan, Bridewell, Ray, Mossy, Barbera, Hickman, and Ryan Vickers. Still circulating Ward, Stacey, Taylor Mackenzie, Graham Irwin, McCormack, and Bjorn Estimant. Going to stay with the race leaders then on this final couple of laps. Tommy Bridewell now in a scrum down here. Tommy Bridewell picking up places. He's right on the turn now of Eden, is Bridewell. I think he's got ahead of Buchan, has he, Bridewell? He's up holding 10th place. He may just go a place or two higher than that in the last lap. And this is the last lap. Lap 24 they've completed. This is lap number 25. We want to make sure where the race leader is. The race leader will be on the Wellington Straight. It's Tommy Bridewell to try around the outside of Christian Eden up at Beckett's corner. They've then got the long run down the Wellington Straight. Well, it's not so long. It's 180 miles now. But we're looking now for the number 95. Captain Cover, backed by Don Mackay of the Gadget Insurance Company. Captain Cover, has he got it covered? Is it going to be the second win of his career in the British Superbikes for number 95, Mackenzie, and the drag toward the flag. It's going to be close ahead of as they go toward the line. It's going to be close. Carl Ride is right there with him, but Mackenzie's going to do it, and Mackenzie takes it by 0.1 of a second. Carl Ride put a sterling battle up there. Carl Ride by 0.1 of a second. Mackenzie takes the victory from Carl Ride. O'Halloran 0.34 back then in third position. Glenn Irwin 1.4 back fourth ahead of Andrew Irwin. Josh Brooks came home in 6th position. Lee Bob Jackson came home 7th. It was then Christian Eden 8th. Danny Buchan 9th. Tommy Bridewell 10th. Luke Mossy 12th. Bradley Ray Luke Mossy 11th, number 12, and 12th place, number 28, Bradley Ray. Hector Barbera coming home 13th, 14th, Pete Hickman, and the final point going the way of number 7, Ryan Vickers. Outside the points, 16th was Taylor McKenzie from 79, Storm Stacey, Tommy Ward. Then I think Graham Irwin may well have been one. No, he crossed the line now, so he is on the requisite 25 laps. That is the third of the Irwin siblings, number 3, Graham Irwin and McCormack, completing the stint ahead of Bjorn Esterman. Let me just give you some numbers then to go with that. I can tell you that the fastest lap, and he will take pole position for the first race tomorrow, i.e. the second of the 3 races this weekend, and that will be Jason O'Halloran, who will sit in pole position ahead of Taryn McKenzie, and I think then it will be Carl Wright who will complete the front row of the grid by a quick look at the fastest lap set in that 25 lapper. But the victory then to number 95, Taryn McKenzie for McCam's Yamaha, ahead of number 77, and that is Carl Wright running for Bill Bay Suzuki. It was then Mackenzie's teammate, 22, Jace Allen, on the second, McCam's Yamaha coming home third. Then number 2, the 2 Hondas of number 2, Glenn Irwin, 18, Andrew Irwin. Then 25, the first of the Paul Bird Motorsport Vision Track Silverstone Ducatis of Josh Brooks, ahead of number 14, Lee Bob Jackson on the Rapid Fulfillment FS3 Kawasaki. Behind Jackson it was number 21, Christian, teammate to Brooksy in the Paul Bird Motorsport squad. 83, Danny Buchan, teammate to Lee Bob Jackson on the Kawasaki. And 46, Tommy Bridle from the back row of the grid. He made the inroads, but never really looked as if it was going to be possible to get up amongst the real big points. What that effectively means is that Tommy Bridle, who was running in second position, may well find himself shuffled out of that. Just looking at Christian Hidden now, I think he might just hold enough in hand to stay second at the moment. I'm sure that Larry is already doing a quick provisional tot-up of the points on that. 95, Taryn McKenzie, 77, Carl Wright, 22, O'Halloran, 2, Glenn Irwin, 18, Andrew Irwin, 25, Josh Brooks, 14, Lee Bob Jackson, 21, Christian Hidden, 83, Buchan, 46, Bridle, 12, Mossy, 28, Ray, 80, Barbera, 60, Hickman, and 7, Ryan Vickers. Those are the points, guys. We'll top the points up. Let's just go back to the studio before we go join Scoop for the presentation.